I'm realizing one of the reasons I don't record during the daytime is because I have some very noisy birds outside right now. Double Oak Sagamore Spirits Rye. Rah. Welcome to KIllco Whiskey Musings. My name is Brian, and today we have yet another bottle donation. Bottle was donated by JJ. JJ, thank you very much for donating to the channel. Appreciate it. I really do. This looks amazing. We find out this has a fancy little flappy thing here. Gold on the other side. 96 points. I haven't been doing this for a serious long time, but I have learned that my favorite part is getting to the drinking of the whiskey. And of course the smelling a little, but I always find it a little amusing to show off the complications with opening the tops because, you know, that can be a thing sometimes. Not necessarily with this one. That was pretty damn easy. I do want to point out that this is a Maryland-style rye whiskey. I don't think I've ever had one of those, so this should be intriguing. Never gets old, man. And one more thing. This is a hell of a bottle. You could knock someone out with this thing. Look at that. It's a thick boy. Thick. Look at the thickness. And as usual, I do have a song stuck in my head, for the record. Oh, I got some on my fingers. First, we begin with the color. And look at that thing. That is gorgeous. I'm kind of looking at the end of the spectrum here. Let me know what you think. This is just my basic color chart. But I would say this is Old Oak, honestly, or Burnt Umber. Those are the two that I think it's closest to. It's pretty sweet looking. This is a nice color for me. A nice little change from the regular bourbon color, as I typically say. Maybe this is rye colored. Who knows? I gotta drink more rye, as it seems. Begin nosing technique. Whoa, what is that? Reminded of pine trees? Like the bark of pine tree? That's bizarre. I don't even know when that came. Where's that memory from? Good grief. There is this weird... This does happen with ryes. From me watching other channels and such, there is sometimes a pine note or a black licorice note, or people say herbal. I'm getting kind of an herbal pine mixture. Which herbs? Well, that would be nice to figure out easily, wouldn't it? There's a bit of a charcoal thing too. I think it's more like it's reminding me of charcoal you put into a charcoal grill kind of thing, rather than, I guess, burnt charcoal oak. Dark chocolate keeps floating through my mind. I'm not sure why, but I thought I'd say it just in case it shows up later. Who knows? As someone who got that pine note again. As someone who is supposedly reviewing these whiskeys, I still like saying first tastes better. One of the hardest things for me personally to get around, due to my mental problems with anxiety, depression, etc., is having any confidence in what I'm actually smelling. And I feel like that's very similar for a lot of people who are just being introduced to whiskey. For me, I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm still always doubting and questioning. So I'm trying to get better at just giving out whatever floats through my mind and seeing what happens later. And I say that because it's a personal experience thing. No one else can tell you if you're right or wrong about it. We all have different noses, different tongues, and all that. Speaking of tongues. Oh. Oh. That's nice. Woo. Little bite to it. Why is there a little bite to it, you might ask? Well, it's 96.6 proof, 48.3% alcohol by volume. This camera is so indecisive when it wants to focus. But also, this is batch 58, bottle 6255, bottled by Maya. Thank you, Maya. Our initial taste, nothing crazy, enjoyable, but there's only one way to keep going with this. Another taste, hold it on the tongue. That's where the oak shows up. A little bit. And I think there's a little chocolate. The rye is not hugely prominent, but certainly rye. Definitely not bourbon. There's only a hint of sweetness. It's not as sweet as bourbons would be. I did realize I didn't get much of a burn going down. There's not a huge amount of tongue tingling. I'm not sure why. There's also a slight mint feeling. A little cooling sensation. I like it. Alright, I am having difficulty with this one. I feel as if there's more to it, but I'm having difficulty getting exactly what I want. So I'm going to use a tasting chart to help me through the process. Link down below if you want to get your own. Let us begin. Well, this starts with appearance. Doesn't have a huge amount. This is a mahogany in my mind. It's a beautiful color. It's more red than orange, you know? Clarity. This is where, a few times where I've gotten a little befuddled about this. It's clear. I don't see any actual haze, but because of how dark it is, it's a little hard to see through. I will say it's clear. I don't see anything in it, if that's really what the question is. Ooh, shimmery. And again, I'm combining both these together, the sediments. I don't see any sediment in here. Viscosity with those legs. This has never been something of vital importance to me until I started doing this. It has some nice legs on it. What does that mean exactly? It just means there's alcohol in it. What a shock. And usually it implies how much alcohol. How you're supposed to judge this, I still don't really know. But it's neat to look at, and it's part of the experience of whiskey, is just to enjoy that moment where it just trickles down like rain. Onto the nose. We start with the intensity. I guess I'll have to say 4, because my initial smell of this was just, whoa, hi, what's that? The age on the nose, that's the fun part. I will say, well, I'm kind of cheating here. I know it's a straight whiskey, so that means at least 2 years. I guess I have to say youthful due to that. I'm not really sure how long they can age rye. Maybe moderate. It feels like a moderate on the nose. I haven't been able to distinguish that stuff very well yet. But then again, I haven't gone through a huge whiskey course of any sort yet. This is pure amateur. You're welcome. And then they ask me to nose the grain. Well, it's a rye whiskey, so I'm going to say rye. Smoke. I'll say light, but not because it's really a smoky thing, but just being able to tell there's some kind of charcoal char deal. Only a little, but it's there. I can't pretend it isn't. Making me think of backyard barbecues, basically. Move on to the spices. I did say mint on the taste. I don't know if I smell that. I did have a pine thing at the beginning, and I kind of want to say clove. Ooh, tobacco and leather? I don't know. I haven't smelled a lot of tobacco stuff, but now that I've said it, because there's something I can't quite place. That sounds pretty good. Tobacco. Leather, maybe not so much, but we'll stick with tobacco. I haven't used that one, and, well, I don't even know if I've ever used it, so there's that. Sweet on the nose, let's see. I did say chocolate of some sort. I am leaning towards other sweet notes, but they're not listed here. It's under the other, and that's something you'd have to write in yourself. But on the nose, not too sweet. Again, the initial reaction I had was sort of a pine thing. Pine bark is what it was. That was an interesting one for me, if nothing else. Floral pine, hey. Wine, again, this is one of those categories I don't know enough about. I couldn't tell you what a sherry tastes like, a port or Madeira, but on the nose, I guess I have to just say no on that. Hopefully someday I'll get exposed to more wines, and then we can go over that in a little more detail. As for fruit, there might be a bit of a berry note to this, but it's really faint. Oof, but there is something that's a little spiky once I start to really put my nose in there, trying to figure things out. Sulfur, nothing sticking out to me. Peat, well, I know this isn't peated. I assume it isn't. That's usually something that's fairly obvious at the start. I will just skip over that. I'll look over some of the words, but nothing really crazy sticking out. Earth, this is always a fun one. Dried leaves might be in here. I like the sound of it anyway. Forest, herbal's on here. Okay, I did say there's a little bit of an herbal note at the start. But I think that's all I'll give it for earth. My goodness, there's so many day noises going on that remind me again and again why I shouldn't try to film in the late afternoon, but I don't want to do it in the dead of night. On to the palate. Flavor. It's actually a little bitter. Not too sweet. So I'll go with bitter. Not stupidly bitter. Maybe bitter like coffee almost. Proof. I guess this is a 2.5 probably, since I know it's less than 50%. Body. I should have another sip. I'll go with 2 for the body because I keep getting hung up on body and texture. I don't want that to stop. As for the texture, I would say it's a bit light, but it does have a bit of a drying sensation. Balance, I would say the drying thing is pretty noticeable. Like I just had a sip and my whole tongue is, I need to drink water or more whiskey. Ooh, that's the dastardly plan. Finish, long. There's a very long, dry finish on the tongue for me. Complexity, I would say 2, but that's just because I'm not finding a lot out of this. Someone else may be able to find a lot more, but for me it's a 2. Now let's go on to the official information about this, which just means I went to the website and you can too. I guess I should say this with my announcer voice. Here we go. Double oak rye whiskey. 3 diamonds, 2 barrels, 1 extraordinary straight rye whiskey. After aging our award-winning spirit for 4 years, we place it into a second oak barrel and wait. The new toasted staves re-energize the aging process, creating flavors full of caramel and dark vanilla, and colors that radiate amber and warm chestnut. It's a straight rye whiskey perfect for the spirit of celebration. Palate: smooth caramel and rich toasted coconut, nutty flavors of hazelnut and pecan meld perfectly with vanilla and caramel. I didn't get half of those. There was no caramel for me. Nutty flavors maybe, or hazelnut, pecan possibly. I don't have a really solid handle on any of the nutty stuff, as I've said in past videos. The color this is golden amber, which I would disagree with. If anything, I'd say dark amber. And there you have it, my first taste of Double Oak Sagamore Spirit Rye. So until next time, live long and prosper, and don't forget to be awesome. And sláinte. Thank you for joining me on KIllco Whiskey Musings. You can find my social media and Patreon in the links below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.